Hey everyone, it's Jer. So I am at South Mountain Preserve in Phoenix, Arizona. And I figured that this would be a good time to answer some questions I've been getting about everything and, try to, as best I can, answer as many of the questions as I can. So a lot of people want to know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what the plan for the future is. Well, and I guess what happened to get me here. So I've done some videos, and the initial one I talked about being sexually assaulted by someone that had control over my career and my future with the airline that I was and still actually am currently with. Something else I'll answer questions about. Once his control ended, I made the decision to report him to his supervisor and her supervisor. And I thought that something might be done, but I also questioned if anything would be done, because during that short term where he had control over the future of my career, I had seen someone else who he had allegedly done this to, except for that person didn't follow through with basically his commands. And because that person didn't follow through with his commands, from what this person said, he was let go of. The person was let go of, not the person that has control over my future, and that's that person's future, was let go of. I waited until this guy didn't have any kind of control over my career anymore, and then, I sent an email along with text from that man, basically confirming what he had done to me, and because he had texted and said that he wanted to basically do it again, and so I sent all of this information, a message, an email explaining everything, all the details. It was a long email and explained everything. And I sent that email to that man's supervisor and to her supervisor, and nobody responded. There was never a response. Then the next day, this person, the guy, was still continually harassing me, and he would create new Grindr profiles after I'd blocked him. There was one day in particular that I blocked his account, and within an hour or two, he had another account with his picture on it, like his profile. I blocked that account, another profile popped up. 5 different times this happened that day. And then finally, he stopped creating new profiles. But what would happen would be that he would text me, and I would try to ignore it, and then I would get a random message on Grindr from a pictureless profile, and I would respond to it. And the minute I would respond to it, I would get a text from that man basically asking, what are you up to? Like, why aren't you responding? It was like I was being stalked and harassed just nonstop. And even that same day that I'd sent the email to his supervisors, I was getting harassed and stalked and harassed by this man. So I sent the email to the supervisors, and they didn't respond. The next day, after he had continued harassing, I sent another email, a follow-up email, and they still didn't respond. And I kind of took it as, okay, maybe they'll investigate this and they just can't say anything to me about it, so they're not responding right now, but maybe they will eventually respond if they have any questions or whatever. I'll just trust that they will handle it. The reason that, like, one of the main reasons why I reported him to begin with was to prevent him from doing this to other people. So I had hoped that they would work fast to make sure that he couldn't do this to other people. And they didn't do anything. Nothing was ever done. I got back from a trip one day, was at the airport, just about to leave the airport, and I saw this man, the same predator that had done this to me. He was just standing there, and he looked over at me, and I made eye contact, and I don't know if he was there like waiting for me or what he was doing, but I knew that he still worked for the company, and that the company hadn't done anything to fix this. So I went home and was scared to really report again, because I was like, if I report again, it ups the chances of me being retaliated against. And I didn't want that, and I wasn't in a place that I could be like, okay, well, if they fire me, I'll be fine, because I wasn't in a place for that. So I did some things to try to make money on the side to be able to cover expenses in case they did retaliate or something bad happened. Once I had that little bit of security, then I moved forward with reporting him again, this time to HR, in the hopes that they would finally put a stop to it. But in the meantime, I was living with a lot of stress and frustration that it didn't get handled to begin with. And I just thought about the other people that he had the opportunity to hurt, because they didn't respond to this. And that hurts. It hurts a lot. Sorry. And so I was taking on all that stress. So I was handling a lot of stress with everything, but trying to just suppress it all and pretend like it wasn't bothering me. But on the inside, it was complete hell, because I couldn't stop thinking about the other people that he was able to do this to, that he had the chance to do this to, and feeling like I wish I could have just done more to stop him, and I'd done everything I could. I reported him and it was just ignored, and that just sat heavy with me. So I continued. I reported it to HR. They got in contact with me and asked me questions, and then The person I talked to said that they would look into it and see what they could do, and that I may not even ever hear about any outcome from this. And then the next day, that person contacted me and said that they weren't going to investigate. Instead, they had let him go for something completely different and nothing to do with me, and in my report. And then told me to just keep flying, keep focusing on taking care of customers, and that was the important thing. And then just gave me a 1-800 number to call if I wanted to talk to anybody. There was nothing else said, nothing else like offered to like help me get through it or to like handle it. And I had the backup funds by that point, but like I still wasn't in a place to just like give up my career, and I couldn't take a leave of absence because I was on a probation period, and they weren't offering a leave of absence or any time off or anything for me to be able to work through everything that had happened. And basically I was just pushed to keep on working, and so I did the best I could to put on a happy face and just push forward. They left this man an option to be able to, because there was nothing on his record to like say that any of this happened or that he had done anything, and so he could just leave and go to work for some other airline and do this more. And since then he has gotten a job with another airline, and all of this just sits so heavy on me. I didn't understand why they didn't take it more seriously to begin with. Why months passed before they ever did anything, and then where they did do something, there was an investigation. Basically, it felt like the only thing that this company was concerned with was making money. They didn't care about the people, their people. They didn't care about me. And I did my best to just handle it and push forward. And I thought I could handle it all, and I couldn't. Then one day I woke up and had absolutely no energy. And at first I thought, well, maybe I just got the flu, whatever, I'll just shake it off. And it wasn't the flu. Like, I had never felt like that before, and not like this extreme. I got up and I was like, I can't even like function. So I called into work and then laid back down and went to sleep, and I slept for like 15 or 16 hours, and then woke up, puked, and like would lay back down and like called back into work again. And then from that point on, it was just up and downs, like a roller coaster. Like I would have a really great day and then just have a day where I couldn't even just get out of bed. And so eventually I realized that it was because I was suppressing everything that had happened to me and how the company had handled it. And just the whole thing was just such a horrible experience, a horrible, traumatic experience. And so I wrote the HR partner that had talked to me whenever I initially reported it and told him that I was sick and this was why. I know that this is why I'm sick, and it's affected me emotionally, it's affected me physically and mentally, and I don't know what to do. Please offer any kind of suggestions. And he didn't respond. He tried calling, but whenever he called, I was afraid of picking up because I had no record whatsoever of what was being said. And I didn't want to get on a call and then him make any kind of false promises or suggestions and me not have any proof of what was being offered. And I didn't trust this company after how they handled it. After how they handled everything, I didn't trust them whatsoever. And I've tried to work on gaining more and more trust, but the things they've done since have only made it worse. So I emailed him again and said that I'm going to that I'm afraid of being retaliated against. I'm afraid of being fired for this, but that I know it has something to do with this work-related incident, and that it has to do with this predator and him getting away with everything and how the company handled it. And I said that I'm going to seek help. I'm going to get professional help, and I'm going to take the time I need to be able to do this. And I don't know what the precautions are, what I should be doing to prepare for this, but I need time off and I need to get professional help. And again, he tried calling, and he left a voicemail this time that said something about some things are just better communicated through phone calls than through email, which is basically HR talk for we don't want to have any proof of what's being said on email. Let's make a phone call that you can't record because it's against Florida state law to record phone calls. At that point, communication went to a standstill because I wasn't answering the phone and he wouldn't respond to emails. So I went ahead and sought legal counsel and got attorneys involved. Whenever I did that, I also decided that I should apply for workers' comp and contacted the people at the company to figure out how to apply for and get the papers to apply for workers' comp. I applied for workers' comp. A representative from the company's insurance that handles workers' comp contacted me, and basically I had to tell her my full story. So she was like, well, we can't really, this is a mental, emotional claim. In the state of Florida, we don't have to take that on. So I was like, but it was caused by something to do with work, and it's not my fault that I was raped. It isn't I shouldn't have to take on the responsibility for that and for covering all these expenses that I have and living expenses while I try to work through this situation. If the company had handled it differently, then maybe I wouldn't have had such extreme mental and emotional stress. And she said, I'm sorry, but I don't think we can, but I'll look into it. She said, let me get with my supervisor and we'll discuss it and go from there, and I'll get back to you. And she never got back to me. Well, then, not long after, I got a FedEx from the company saying that, from the airline, saying that they were investigating possibility of reprimanding me, including termination for missing work. I was like, they're going to retaliate against me for filing a workers' comp case and for everything that's happened and for me reporting. This is retaliation. It was just so much. And by that point, I had already gone months without pay and was relying on the funds that I had, the backup funds I had saved, and I was getting down to nothing. And my roommate at that same time was like, well, we're moving, you need to figure out what you're going to do within the next month or two, because we're going to move regardless, and you need to have somewhere to go. And so I was like, okay, great. And I didn't expect him to take on the responsibility of having to take care of me. It wasn't his fault. It had nothing to do with him. It was this company and that person's fault, and they weren't taking any kind of responsibility or any kind of steps to fix this or to repair this. And I was just stuck and on the verge of just losing everything. I got to where I felt a little better, but I didn't trust this company. I didn't trust returning to work for this company. I still don't trust returning to work for this company. I don't know what they could do to me or how they would retaliate next, and I just don't want to chance it. And I don't want to work for a company that would allow this to happen. And I'm not going to. And with where everything stands, they can't terminate me because it's retaliation, and I can't quit because if I quit, then it's like me just walking away from everything, and I can't take on anything else because I can't quit this company. So I'm in a position where I'm not making anything. I can't take on a new job, and we're just waiting to get to a solution to all of this. And my attorneys are working hard to get that fixed, and I lost everything, and I had the option to either way I was going to lose everything because I had no money to be able to pay for a new place. And so and my roommates were moving. They moved. Originally my roommate had said that I had until the end of the month, although my pay, what I had paid with my security deposit and everything, was until the middle of the month. He was like, well, we're paying for the full month, so just stay. And so I was like, okay, well, that gives me a couple more weeks to figure everything out. And I started working on figuring out what I wanted to do and how. And so it ended up being a couple days after ended up being the middle of the month. And he was basically like, so what do you need us to leave behind for you to survive for another couple days? And I was like, well, I guess just like internet or whatever, and like maybe a spoon, fork, a knife, and like, a plate or whatever. And he was like, okay, and then you'll be gone. And I was like, huh? And he was like, well, you have a couple of more days, and then we've already moved out, and you haven't really moved anything yet. I was like, because I don't have anywhere to move it to yet, and you had said that I had until the 30th, and I'll have it all out by the 30th. And he was like, well, actually you need to be sooner than that, because I need to make sure that all your stuff is gone so that we can do one final walkthrough. And I was like, so basically you're saying I just need to be out as soon as possible? And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, but you said until the 30th. Anyway, so it ended up happening that I had to make a very quick move and try to figure out what to do. And what I did was, I was like, I don't want to, like, people from across the country offer me to come and live with them. I don't want to just go and live with somebody and them have to take on my burden. And plus, I don't know where I want to end up or where I want to be. I don't know where I belong. And so I don't want to just move somewhere that I don't see a future there and be someone's burden until I can get on my feet. And then plus, I can't take another job, like an ongoing job right now, and I can't quit with the airline right now, and there's just all this other stuff going on, and I don't want anybody to have to be understanding of that while I'm living with them. So I was like, okay, well, for right now at least I have my car, and I was like, I'll just travel and meet people and just make the most of this experience, because the only other option was to go and basically stay at a homeless shelter and just die in depression. And I don't think it would have been good for my mental or emotional health. And so this, I feel like, is good for me. Like, I'm actually able to get out and do things, and it forces me to get out and do things. I can't exactly lay in bed all day and be depressed if I don't have a bed to lay in and be depressed in. So it's forcing me to get out and meet people and make the most of the situation. And so that's what I'm doing. And yes, I have a GoFundMe, and yes, people think it looks really bad, and really I don't care anymore. I'm so tired of fighting this. I'm so tired of fighting people every step of the way for my life. I had someone verbally attack me on Twitter and say that it was all a choice. It was a choice for me to be raped. It was a choice for me to give everything up. It's a choice for me to travel. And honestly, it's not. The only thing that's been a choice in any of this has been that I'm going to make the most of it, and I'm going to push forward as best as I can. And if people don't like it or people have things to say about it, keep it to your damn self, because I have no energy to give to fighting you anymore. I have no energy to give to fighting negativity. This is like, none of this was a choice. The only choice that I made was to make the most of the situation and to share the experience as I go, and hopefully people get something from it. Hopefully it teaches or it inspires people to find the good in every situation and to make the most of whatever situation they're in. And I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to try to make an adventure out of it and do more with it than just like be sitting somewhere and pitying myself. And so that's what I'm doing. And the plan is hopefully, since I've already given everything of mine away, like all of it's gone, I'm probably going to, even after there's a solution to this, I will probably still continue to travel. I want to find my place in the world. I want to find where I belong and what's right for me. And along the way, I've set up a goal for myself to keep pushing forward to, and that goal is I want to be able to travel and visit all 50 states. I don't know how long, I don't have a time frame. I don't have a final destination yet. I'm just going to live in the moment and make the most of it. And like I said, there have been people that have judged me and like attacked it, and whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel good, do it, I guess. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to make the most of this, and whatever opportunities come up, I'm going to take them. Along the way, in order to like make money to survive, I'll work random jobs, do random things that are not ongoing jobs, but just like one-off things. So if you see me coming to your town or your state or whatever, and you have something that you need help with and you can pay me, that would be amazing. Because I would rather do that than just have to fundraise everything I do. I would rather be doing something and making money along the way and continuing to travel and continuing to make the best adventure of this than to have to fundraise everything. I hate that. It's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to have to depend on other people to get through, and it's a frustrating place to be. So hopefully that doesn't have to continue. If I can get 1,000 or more subscribers here on the YouTube, then I can, like, once I hit 1,000 subscribers and have 4,000 hours of watch time, 4,000 hours where people have watched my videos, spent watching my videos, then I can monetize videos, and once I monetize, then I can make money. I can kind of make money off this. It may not be much, but at least it's something, so that helps. And then just doing the random jobs across the country or wherever, or if you have some kind of opportunity for me that you want to offer, put it out there, and maybe I might take it, depending on what it is. But whatever it takes to survive is basically what I'm doing. And it's basically fight or flight. Flight or fight? Fight or flight. Whatever it is, that's what it is. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to come out stronger because of it. I'm not going to give up. And I'm going to make the most of this experience and the time that I have, instead of just laying down in a bed and giving up. I refuse to give up. I refuse. And you can judge me and you can say, oh, well, he's doing this. I don't care. I am doing everything I can to survive. And if you don't like it, don't follow. If you don't like that people are giving money to help me out, don't give money. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't follow along. You don't have to. For those of you who are supporting it, who are following along, who are finding encouragement or inspiration or just even entertainment, thank you. Thank you. It helps a lot. It helps so much. And I appreciate it. I'm not giving up. I refuse to give up. So, and I will share as much as I can along the way, and hope that like I said, that you are encouraged or inspired, or that maybe you learn things, or that you're just entertained. Like, I'm going to make entertaining videos too. And if I'm coming to your city and you want to make a video with me, let's do it. I have nothing else going on. So, yeah. So hopefully that answers like any questions that you might have. It's a longer video, but it answers, I think, a lot of the questions that I've had. what happened, why I'm in the situation I'm in, what I'm doing now. But I don't want to have any kind of like dead set plan unless that dead set plan means that it's more money to survive on. I don't want to have any kind of dead set plan that I'm just stuck in. I want to be in the moment and make the most of every moment and say yes to as much as I can, and make this year and everything going forward the best year and the best time that I can while I'm here, while I have time. So far it's been, I've met a lot of people off of Twitter. I met a couple, but mostly it's been people off of Grindr, and it's just been no strings attached, like people that just want to be a part of it. Like they read my profile on there, and then, you know, like the night before last, there was a guy that wrote me and he was like, I read your profile and I went and watched your videos, and I have a guest bedroom. Come and stay the night so you're not in the cold, which I was super thankful for, because that was in Flagstaff and it was 4 degrees out that night. So yeah, I didn't want to have to be sleeping in my car. And so this guy named David, which I met 2 Davids actually that day, well, those couple of days, and both were from Grindr. The next day I met a David, and I shared this on Instagram, but I met a David and shared this on Instagram and Twitter, which is a place called Jer, and we just arranged just to hang out, spend the day together, and he showed me Flagstaff. Yeah, I don't want to just be traveling around just to be traveling around. I want to meet people and make the most of it. I want to see like people, where people live, and like what their favorite things to do where they live are, and to have new experiences, and we both grow, or we all grow from that experience. So I think this is going to be good. I believe in it. I don't know how long it'll last. I have no set time frame. I do know I would love to see all 50 states. I figure since I'm already traveling anyway, I've already given everything of mine away. I don't have a home base or a home really. Home for me is wherever I'm at. Wherever I'm at, in whatever moment I'm there, that is home. I make that moment my home. So while I don't have a home base or somewhere where I'm living, I'm always home. I always make the most of wherever I'm at. And so I'm home right now in Arizona, in this mountain area, doing this video. So, but while I don't have a home base, might as well be traveling, might as well see as much of the country and meet as many people as I can. And if you want to be a part of that, or meet while I'm in your city or town, please don't send me anything right now unless it's like some kind of opportunity to travel to you and have experiences. Please don't send me like messages saying once you make it, because I get a lot of that, and I'm like, I don't know when I'll be wherever it is you are, so, and it's too much to keep up with. But if you see me heading towards your direction, reach out, and I'd love to meet and like have coffee and maybe experience some of your city or town. Okay, hopefully that answers questions without creating a whole bunch more. Hopefully this gets resolved soon and I can move forward without needing as much help from other people as I can. Like without needing as much help from others. And it just be something where we can just meet and have experiences together. That's what I would want. And not to have people like send me money or pay for anything. I would rather this become a self-funded journey instead of like having to depend on people, because I feel like once you have to depend on people, then it takes away from the experience, from being able to be fully in that experience. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just coming off of that attack where that person was like, this is all your choice, and it was just a lot. If you have ideas for ways for me to make money that aren't just people giving me money, please let me know, and I'll definitely consider it. And yeah, that's all I have. Oh, something else. I as of right now am not able to afford to pay copays to be able to continue seeing a psychotherapist or psychiatrist. I'm working through everything as best I can off of how I know to work through it, but it's challenging. It is super challenging. I still have emotional breakdowns. I still have, well, not emotional breakdowns, but just moments where I just want to cry, because I would rather, in that moment, in those moments, I would like to just be able to go lay down in my bed, but I don't have a bed. So I will find myself just lost in it. And yeah, so I'm not able to see a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist because I don't have the money for the copays. The copays for this psychotherapist, it was $40 a visit, and then the copay for the psychiatrist is also $40, but the psychiatrist prescribed me medicine to help with PTSD and depression, and so on top of that, it was another $20 or $30 for medicine. And the psychiatrist I was seeing every month, so it would be $40 plus $30, so $70 altogether. And then the psychotherapist is somebody that you actually talk to and spend time with, and I was doing that every week for an hour a week, and that was $40. So that's another $160 on top of the $70 every month that I would have to pay, and I can't afford it. So I'm just doing my best with what I learned during that time period and trying to just work through it as best I can. Eventually, once I do have funds, however I have funds, I plan on doing distance therapy, and hopefully, I don't know if it's possible, seeing a psychiatrist through my phone, basically. I think it's possible. It may not be, but hopefully it is, and then I can get back on my meds and work through a lot of these issues. But while there's a standstill with the company, I really can't, and I don't have the funds to pay for it, and it sucks, but it's what I'm stuck in, and just doing the best I can with what I have. I really am. This is so hard. And as much as I try to make an adventure of it, there's still a lot of difficulties in it, a lot of hard times, and yeah, I can't believe I'm in this situation. But I have to make the most of it, and I have to push forward, and do what I can. It's all I know to do, because I refuse to lay down and give up. I refuse. I'm going to fight as hard as I can to make sure that this is made as right as it possibly can. It can't be made right. It can't be made 100%. What has been done is done, but it can be made better, and I plan on working my ass off to make sure that it is made better. Okay. I don't want this to be a sad pity tour or a feel bad for me tour. I don't want people to feel bad for me. I want to make this into something positive, and so I'm not going to travel around and mope and be sad. So I'm not going to make a lot of videos like this. I just won't. I'm going to share the good experiences. I'm going to share the experience of it. If I have bad days, I'll share those, but it's not going to be all bad. I don't want it to be all bad. I want it to be a positive experience where I get to see new places and meet new people, and we have experiences together that hopefully make changes for both of us, or for all of us. Yeah. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening to my rants. Hey everybody, so I just recorded 40 minutes of video on the mountain, and a lot of it I'm probably going to have to edit out because of legalities. There's a lot of stuff that I can and can't talk about. Hopefully everything works out and the company will work to get to a resolution to fix as much of this as possible. Like I said before, there's no way they can fix everything, but hopefully they do the right thing and make as much of this as right as they possibly can. In an effort to be completely transparent. At the end of each of my videos, I will share a screenshot of what I have in my bank, what I'm living off of in that moment, so that you can see how much money I actually have at any given time in any YouTube video. So I'll be sharing that so you can kind of see what I'm surviving on. Because I don't want it to be like, oh, he must have a lot of money or whatever, if I don't really have a lot of money. And I think that's all I have. I'm not going to talk a lot about this very much going forward. Hopefully, like I said, it answers most of your questions. I am going to make the most of this, and that means trying to move on from this as best I can and making an adventure and something positive out of something that was very negative for me. So hopefully I get to meet as many of you as I possibly can along the way. Like I said before, if you see me coming to your state or your city, please reach out, and I would love to hopefully meet for like coffee or to explore your city or just to talk. So, yeah. All right. I love you all, and I will talk to you very soon. Mwah.